Hello, what's happening? Welcome back, guys. As you can see, we're in a whole brand new place. I finally moved. If you've been following me on Twitter, you've been seeing me posting about the internet issues I had. It took us an extra couple of days to get internet set up in the brand new house here, so it's part of the reason I haven't been able to do an update for Rule of Two review, but man, it feels good being back. This whole new room and little office I've been able to set up for myself is really handy dandy for everything I want to do Rule of Two review wise. So, it's all temporary. I might change up a couple things. The posters in the room and on the wall behind me and stuff may change. Maybe I get the monitor back behind me. Who knows? At this point, it feels good to just have my room and all my stuff, my video equipment, my internet set back up so I can make more videos for you guys and get the channel back going. I know right before I left and did my move a week ago, I mentioned I was going to be doing a Q&A video, and that is still true. I got a bunch of freaking awesome questions from you guys as always. Thank you so much for asking them, both on Twitter and on the video itself. So that will be the next video I make in the next few days, but first I wanted to kind of test the new digs out, see what the look and feel and sound is like in the new room here, and just do kind of a regular news video. And I'm going to discuss some of this crazy rumors going on with Nintendo maybe working again with EA. Okay, so what am I talking about with Nintendo and EA? You probably have heard about this the last few days. It's been pretty big news that there have been rumors. I guess I don't know how much they're actually rumors or how much it's considered fact. Someone who kind of is very close to Nintendo has said that Nintendo has been working specifically with Electronic Arts again. We know that this happened a long time ago with the Wii U and everything fell apart. It seems like now Nintendo and Electronic Arts are trying to repair that damaged relationship that happened in the beginning of the Wii U's life. And apparently Electronic Arts already has dev kits. They might have even had them for a while. And through this, Nintendo is going to be having some meetings in the upcoming, I guess, maybe weeks or so, with some of the executives at Electronic Arts to find some sort of common ground for them to come to as far as getting Electronic Arts to start working with Nintendo and vice versa. Nintendo obviously really sees Electronic Arts as a key player in the third-party marketplace that exists today, and a key player in trying to get their new console and probably new image back in track with today's current gamers and become really successful again. And I know that Electronic Arts is kind of one of those polarizing companies, especially for us Nintendo fans who don't really know how they feel about them and some of their DLC practices and their business practices and their annualized things and the fact that them and Nintendo had a falling out. But you know what? I have to agree. If there's truth to this, which I'm pretty sure there is, I have to agree with Nintendo's stance and the fact that they're kind of seeking Electronic Arts out, because I think that Electronic Arts really is a key player in today's marketplace. I know sometimes it sucks to admit it, and as I've discussed before, I will always admit that Nintendo is probably the only console manufacturer that could push really hard and survive without the need for some of the bigger third parties like Electronic Arts, Activision, Ubisoft. But at the end of the day, I think it would still be good for them to have companies like them back on board. I've said this so many times, I don't want to retread my previous videos. So if Nintendo is really being brazen about this and they're actively pursuing a working relationship with Electronic Arts again, I'm glad. I want Electronic Arts and their really excellent and their really high-profile AAA games to come back to Nintendo's consoles. I mean, if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, quick edit, Battlefield was the game that I meant, not Grand Theft Auto 6. I was thinking Grand Theft Auto for something completely different, and I fucked that up. So, my bad, not talking Grand Theft Auto, we're talking Battlefield. Carry on. And it releases on the NX. You guys, that's gonna be great. We would all want that. Nintendo wants that, Electronic Arts wants that. Part of this whole thing with Electronic Arts and these rumors, by the way, is that what they're asking Nintendo to do is be very, very focused and marketing heavy on the sports side. I think the number one thing that Electronic Arts feels is missing from Nintendo's, from their push to their demographic is the sports enthusiast and the sports fan. And regardless of me being a sports fan, I have to agree with that as well, because Nintendo has done jack shit on the sports side for a very, very long time. I believe the very first Madden that launched after the Wii U's release, which was probably Madden 13, if I'm remembering right. That was the only one that got a release on Nintendo's console, on the Wii U. Now, I don't know the new engine that Electronic Arts created for Madden that year that they've been using since, but to my knowledge, I stopped playing Madden so long ago, even as a football fan. To my knowledge, the Wii U build of Madden that year didn't use that engine. So whatever the weird, Finagle-de-Poo engine, whatever it's called, that they created for Madden, it was on, the 360, the PS3. It was obviously before the PS4 and Xbox One and the PC, but they didn't put it on the Wii U version. And it was really strange, and that made a lot of people mad, and it's like, what are you doing? So because of things like that, we haven't seen Madden and FIFA, NHL, these really big gaming Electronic Arts franchises on Nintendo's consoles. And whether you like them or not, it's a matter of if you want a company like Nintendo to see success and have quality business. And I think that it is very smart for Nintendo and Electronic Arts to wake up and realize this is something that's been missing from Nintendo's console lineup recently. They should have the sports stuff. I would like to see the sports stuff come back, even though I don't really play sports sim games like Madden and NHL. I love the NFL and the NHL, but I don't really care for those. I don't care for FIFA. If I'm going to play sports, it's going to be Mario Kart. It's going to be F-Zero, like not real sports or racing games, but like the goofy kinds of things. That's more interesting to me. But yeah, so EA wants Nintendo to push forward with this. They want Nintendo to start advertising during high-profile sporting events. They want NFL and NBA and NHL games to have advertisement from Nintendo, just like they see with Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo is obviously realizing that Sony and Microsoft see a lot of success because they work with EA and they do the sports advertising and they have the sporting gamer market on lock, and that generates a lot of money for everyone. And obviously Nintendo is starting to realize it's important, especially here in the Western market, and they want to start fixing that stuff. And again, soccer is huge everywhere outside of the Western market, so they got to get FIFA back on board. All these sports and the fans of these sports so many of them are gamers, and a lot of us want that stuff on our consoles. And if Nintendo wants gamers to be gaming on their consoles, they're going to have to fix that stuff. Also, Electronic Arts wants Nintendo to start doing sport game bundles. It was really weird to kind of read this, but apparently because the PlayStation and Xbox will do like a Madden and a FIFA bundle every year with their console, they want Nintendo to do the same. Not something that I would have otherwise saw coming from EA and what kind of things they'd ask for from Nintendo. But in hearing it or reading it, I would also agree. Ultimately, all these things that Electronic Arts may be asking Nintendo to do on the sporting side, I ultimately agree. If Nintendo starts releasing Nintendo and X bundles with the next Madden and the next FIFA, that's a great thing too. That's going to get gamers on board. That's going to let gamers know, hey, these Nintendo consoles, I can do all my sporting gaming on Nintendo consoles as well. And, love it or hate it, you have to agree that that would actually be smart business. Obviously, the other thing you need to talk about when you talk about Nintendo and EA potentially working together again is the fact that it didn't work out the first time, and because of that, we missed a lot of AAA games. Now, the first time, there was obviously, I say the first time, I'm of course referring to 2012, when at E3, EA came on stage with Nintendo and said, hey, it's an unprecedented partnership, and they showed Frostbite Engine, Battlefield 3 running on the Wii U or something, and all these other games. You're going to have all these great things, and they threw a whole smattering of logos on the stage. And then they released, a 2-year-old port of Mass Effect. They released what I hear was actually a pretty good Need for Speed port, but with none of the DLC. And then there was one other one that they did that just totally shot the bed. Like, they just didn't make good games. They were bad ports. They were all lazy. They were old. They were overpriced. And of course, they didn't perform well. Both the games themselves and the sales of the games, and so everything fell apart. Apparently the Unity engine and Origin were things that Nintendo didn't want to deal with. That was something that made EA mad as well, so the whole thing just fell apart. It didn't happen. So when I say the first time, I'm referring to that. And when you look at today, because that partnership fell through at that time, we've missed out on a lot of quality games from EA. And now it's like, hey, when the next Dead Space comes out, we would hopefully be able to see Dead Space on a Nintendo console. When the new Mass Effect comes out, that's a game in a series we're going to want back on Nintendo consoles. Dragon Age, everything that BioWare is doing, those are the kinds of things that we might want to see. And bringing up Dead Space, of course, you got Visceral Games. Lest we forget the big one for me, which is Star Wars. Star Wars right now is an EA licensed gaming property for a very long time. You've heard me talk about it several times. And through that, we know that if EA isn't working with Nintendo, we sure as hell are not going to see any Star Wars games on a Nintendo console. And man, that kills me. That's just something that I would not be okay with. And, we're in this world where EA, for better or worse, is the only company that's allowed to publish or develop Star Wars games for a while. And I want to see those games come back on Nintendo's consoles. I think that would be great. It would be great for Nintendo. You know, Nintendo should want that too. I think that when you look at Nintendo's company and what their pursuit of like the a lot of the family-friendly stuff, or like the consoles and the gaming for everyone, in that conversation, you would think Star Wars games would be included, because Star Wars is very much an everyone, all-inclusive kind of property as well. If Nintendo can start having Star Wars content and advertising Star Wars content on their console and their handheld in the future, that would be huge, you guys. That would be huge business. It would make me super happy. Not to mention if they find some way to do some exclusive Star Wars stuff. Holy cow, that would be fantastic. We all know about the Darth Maul game that was going to be coming out for the Wii U a couple of years ago that was canceled. And imagine if that came back, and what if it was, you know, either multi-platform or still a Wii U exclusive. There's a lot of cool things that can happen there. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that when you think about Nintendo and EA working together, for better or worse, I would like to see it happen. I think that there's a lot of truth to this. I think that it's a good thing. I know a lot of people are going to cry foul on the whole, you know, third-party Electronic Arts DLC bullshit and Nintendo consoles kind of thing. I get that, and I agree with a lot of it. And I think that that's part of the reason Nintendo might have also let that partnership fall through as well, because Nintendo doesn't really seem like the kind of company that's okay with this inappropriate gouging of the consumer's dollar kind of DLC practices that EA has been known for. And I love Star Wars Battlefront, but I'll admit, in a lot of ways, it's not the most complete game, and the $50 season pass is kind of freaking stupid, because a lot of that stuff probably should have already been in the game. They have been doing some free content updates with it, which is very cool, but I don't want to get into that. Long story short is I think Nintendo maybe wasn't comfortable with a lot of that stuff too, so they're like, hey, we don't want to do these things that you want to do, and you want us to do things that we don't want to do, so it's just not going to work out, you know, see ya. And I think that might have been part of how it all played out. But if they can all come to a common ground, then I'm hoping that both companies can see the benefit of working with each other going forward and reap the benefits. Because Electronic Arts should also want to have a third console audience in the Wii U and the Nintendo NX and in Nintendo as a whole going forward as well. They should see it as a benefit, and I'm willing to bet they do. I think that they know that there's a market there that they can tap, and I think that that's part of the reason why these conversations are happening. I don't think any one company is more reliant on the other one. I think they're trying to find a happy medium and a common ground, like I've said, for them to be able to work together going forward. Anyway, that's it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for waiting patiently so long for me to get back here with another video and get into my new digs. Like I said, my new room, my new office, my new house. Get everything set up. I know the angle's a little bit different here, but that's kind of the fun of being able to do this. So I appreciate you guys waiting. Without question, the next video I post in the next few days will be the Q&A, and I'm going to answer all of your guys' really awesome questions. Lots of gaming and movie questions and some music stuff too, so it's going to be really, really cool. But that's what's going on with Electronic Arts and Nintendo right now. I think that this could be really cool, really great, really smart for both companies. Let's wait and see how it all plays out. What do you guys think? Do you think that this would be smart for Nintendo to be courting Electronic Arts again and vice versa? Do you think that there's a benefit for these companies, you know, working together again? Or do you not really care? Do you hate Electronic Arts? Do you want them to have nothing to do with Nintendo ever again? And were you comfortable with it the way it's been these last few years? You tell me. You hear my thoughts. I want it to all work out, but maybe you feel differently. So share what you guys think below. Thanks as always for tuning in. Thanks for waiting so much, so patiently for a week or so for me to get set up. And this is Rob of Rule 2 Review. I'll catch you guys next time on another video.